Where you live heavily influences the fragrances that you would buy. In the US, we are big fans of vanilla. To the point that majority of the number one selling fragrances in the US over the past few years have been vanilla heavy fragrances. As a Brit who lives in America, I've started wearing a lot of vanilla fragrances myself, to the point that like this has been daily drive so hard that there's a big chip in the side of it. So in the US, we will always tend to go to vanilla. They're all of the top selling fragrances. When we go fresh, we like to go with things that remind us of hand soaps or anything that we just mentally associate with fresh and clean, hence why imagination and those type of fragrances really kick off. But if you're from the UK like myself, you are more likely to be a fan of things like this. Things typically that are darker and ambery, or for example, more on the leather side of things. So we still have a bit of that gourmand in us, which is kind of the bridge in between being, you know, the things like angel share and stuff like that. But we tend to be a bit more on the ambery side and a bit more on the leather side. You know, maybe we're a bit dark and dreary. But when it comes to our cleaner type of fragrances, we tend to like musk, which is ironic because all of these fragrances are things that I lean on quite heavily. Now, if you're from the Middle East, you tend to like things more so like this. You're going to enjoy oud and incense heavy fragrances, whether that is on more of your dark side of things, like a blue oud, which is a very almost like ombre nomad-esque, and then things like oud zarian that are oud but with a heavy level of incense. But even when it comes to the freshier ones, such as what I would say kind of gives off the vibe of like Dior Sauvage, meaning everybody and the bloody mother wears it, or even summer-based fragrances that are layered with oud. And I'm not saying this one, I'm not saying that this was a staple of the UAE or the Middle East. I'm just saying that even the fresh ones there come with a base note of oud, simply because that bloody environment cooks off anything fresh that you have. For example, if you are in the Middle East and you try and rock an Neroli Portofino, it's going to cook right off your skin. You're going to step outside, it's going to be gone. And at the same time, if you're wearing really, you know, dark, suede leather fragrances in the Texas heat, you might be a bit overbearing on people. So for the longest time, I've said seasons do not dictate your fragrance, but I do think your environment does.